Rowan, can we just start with the squad news? How bad is Matty Russell's injury?
His knee's settling down quite well, and he's going through the HIA failed HIA concussion protocols are going to plan. So he should be fit and available after the cup weekend.
So he's still very much part of the group at the moment.
Yes, yeah, he's obviously been a bit restricted with what he can do with training this week, but it's going in the right direction and it's nothing long term there.
Momirovski's come back into the squad. Has he got the potential to play on Saturday?
Yeah, he'll be back. He's done a really good rehab. Our medical team have done a terrific job, and Paul sort of felt like he'd be ahead of schedule, and he was right all along. So he's completed training today, so he'll be back tomorrow.
How much of a boost is it to have him back, certainly ahead of schedule?
Yeah, always good when you feel like you've done a comprehensive rehab and you get someone back, a fraction earlier or on the earlier side of the possible time span. He's a senior player and a very smart footy player, so we're eager to get him back out there.
And what's the situation with Jack Sinfield? I think he's in the squad this week, but did he pick up a slight knock ahead of potentially playing for Halifax last week?
Yeah, Cindy was he completed a couple of training sessions with Halifax last week, but had a really mild leg issue where we felt it was best to not risk him on the weekend, both for Cindy's best interests and also we didn't want him, in his first game with Halifax to be going in under some sort of injury cloud. So Halifax obviously had a strong win, and a couple of our other lads did a really good job there on dual reg. So it's a relationship and a partnership there that we're looking to build on, and our players have really enjoyed playing there to date.
Is Jack back in your thinking for this week?
He'll be in the game day squad, but he won't play tomorrow. He'll play reserves tonight.
Any other potential changes that you've been mulling over for Saturday?
No, we're pretty much pretty settled group at the moment. We've got a couple of injury coming and goings in the backs at times, but our forwards are still down on troops with those longer term sort of concussions. But Tom Horroyd's now trending in the right direction, so that's a positive one.
Yeah, I was going to ask you whether there's any more updates on those, or are they just sort of going through the motions at the moment?
Tom's getting closer to being able to be back in full contact training, and but Bentley's obviously he's not back till June, and James Donaldson's going in the right direction, but he's still got to get some training done after having a relatively minor sort of neck situation, but one that's taken a while to heal.
Because I think he said with Dono, I think he wasn't seeing the consultant last week, so has he been given the all clear effectively?
Yeah, he's progressing as the consultant expected. So that's good news. And now it's a matter of building up his strength and his training volume. And there's no fixed date to return, but he's probably a few weeks to a month away from being close.
I just wanted to ask you about the formula with your nine as well, because obviously Jared O'Connor started the last three, hasn't he, with Andy Ackers on the bench. Do you feel at this moment in time that that's the best formula for the side, or is it still a work in progress?
Well, we've chosen to do that a few times to share the load a little bit, and also it helps with the interchange if you feel like you're only making one substitute around dummy half, playing 80 minutes, high intensity and high energy, sort of which Ackers is. It's difficult to do that every week in, week out, all season. So Jared brings a lot to our group. So we've just sort of been sharing the role there. And Jared's also been complementing his dummy half work with some work as a middle unit player there as well. So we'll treat that as a, week by week, sort of what we think's best for the week based on, how everyone is and the opposition and the conditions, play some part in that as well.
Obviously, Leeds Cast games are big games anyway. How significant do you feel this one is on Saturday?
Yeah, they're all obviously always very significant for both organisations, and particularly for us. We're really disappointed with how last week's second half went. We thought we attacked the game really well in the first half, and there was a lot of confidence and positivity amongst the group at half time. We started the second half poorly and just aside from a little patch there, we didn't really recover. So we're really disappointed by that, and want to take some action and show that we can play better for longer and chase that improvement.
And what's your homework shown up on the Tigers?
Oh, they've played some really good stuff in recent times, and there's quite a few different players in their group to last time we played them. So we know what the Leeds Cas game brings. Inevitably, it's a hard contest, and everyone wants to have those bragging rights in the area. So we respect what they're doing, and they've played some really good stuff at times lately. So we'll be ready for their best.
And given what happened last week, so certainly in the second half, do you feel it's a fixture that can get you back on the bike and could provide a big boost for you?
Yeah, I think every fixture at the moment is like that for us. A good, strong performance can really build some belief and confidence. There's still belief in the group, but probably building that confidence and having those most recent examples of good form is always the best form to reflect on. So, yeah, we feel this is a really pivotal game for us to play well and get a good result, and then freshen up and get some work done next week and build that next block of the season after that.
I just wanted to ask you as well about the news of the incoming sporting director, whoever that may be, and how that might change anything that you're doing at the moment.
I fully support that role to begin with. It's one that's been spoken about a little bit on and off for a period of time, and I know the club went that way in the past, and it's something that plenty of other Super League clubs are doing, and other NRL clubs that I've worked at have had a very similar role to that. Premier League and most sports are doing that now. So it makes a lot of sense, and it's a big organisation now, and there's a lot going on. So I think it's a great thing to support me and the staff that work with the players each day. Probably a little bit less time on processes and admin and sort of systems behind the scenes type stuff. That'll allow me more time to be with the players and staff, which will be only beneficial to the club, I believe.
Just lastly from me, will you watch the Challenge Cup final next week?
Yeah, I won't care who wins, but I'll always watch it.
Or cup finals, I should say. Finals.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be watching the girls win for sure. That'll be the one we're interested in the result, and then obviously the men's game. It's such a great spectacle and a great event, Challenge Cup final. So I look forward to watching that and having no stake in the outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll obviously back the women, but who's your money on for the men's cup?
I haven't given it a moment's thought, and finals are finals. Like it's they can go either way. Obviously, two informed teams and plenty of talent and all that sort of stuff. So it'll be a great contest, and hopefully it's a great spectacle, and the greater audience out there that maybe doesn't usually watch rugby league, witnesses something special there.
Just on the sporting director thing, did you have your input before it was decided that a sporting director would be employed?
It's been
discussed. Whether you thought it was a good idea?
Yeah, for sure. We've discussed the role, and even when I arrived, I was sort of interested to understand the admin and the processes prior to me being there, and I understood the role that Kev came in to do way back. So it's something that I think is important, and you need multiple people working in the sort of high end sort of strategy and day-to-day operational stuff. You need more than 1-2 people on that. You need a lot to get it done, and we've got a lot of teams, and obviously with the netball and we're actually dealing with different sports as well. So I think that sporting director is going to add great value to the club, and Gary's done an unbelievable job over a very long period of time with the club to make it what it is. So I think it's going to complement the work that he's doing and has done over the years, and complement the teams that represent the Rhinos.
And you believe that sharper focus on what happens on the field is better for the club?
I think it's a great idea that there's someone working on things that aren't directly related to the training field, and taking care of that as their sort of primary focus, rather than at the moment Gary's looking at the whole business, and I'm looking at the whole football operation. I think it complements really nicely.
And do you welcome that, even though there may be a time where the new person that comes in does look at how things have been working and could recommend changes and things like that?
Yeah, I welcome things to get better. That's always what I'm striving to do, and I love working as part of the team. We've got a board here that are very connected to the football department. We're all working hard, and I think this role will connect things really well to support what we're currently doing. And if that means there's some things that have changed, then I'd welcome that.
Just one last one. When you first came into the club, were you almost like surprised the club of Leeds' size didn't have that role?
I guess when you arrive, you try and work out how everything gets done around a club. You don't fully know, no matter how much someone describes it to you before you get there. You don't fully know until you get into a place. And I've made a bunch of recommendations to Gary and the board since I've been here about things that aren't specifically related to just what goes on the training field or on the field on game day. And this is one of the things that I sort of fully support. And I think in most clubs the title might be different to sporting director, but there is someone doing that type of role where it's specifically related to the sport operation rather than combining that with the corporate and the commercial operation as well.
Just wanted to ask you about a couple of long-term casualties we've not mentioned for a while. Wondered how Max Simpson's getting on. Obviously, he's been out a long time with this with the ACL. Any sign of him getting back on the field yet?
Yeah, Max is a fantastic young kid to start with. He's had a bunch of sort of setbacks, things that haven't quite settled at the rate that we'd hoped, and he's managed his sort of his behaviour, and he's just it's testament to him and his family how strong a character that kid is. He's done heaps of training in the last 6 to 8 months, but it hasn't all been sort of smooth sailing, which makes it really difficult for a young kid who's got so much promise. And I said to him the other day that we certainly haven't forgotten about him as far as playing a key role in the group when the time's right. He's probably still a month away from maybe knowing when a return date might be fixed, but he's getting plenty of work done. He's just having some little setbacks in between, and with a player of his age, and as I've said previously, that we hold Max in very high regard, that we won't be pushing him out there until he and we know that the time's right for him. So we're working hard, and he's working hard, and just trying to support him, both on and off the field.
And the other one was Hudson, who's obviously not played first team for you yet. I think he's played a couple of reserve games in that Halifax, hasn't he? But he got another injury setback, hadn't he? How's he getting on?
Yeah, Kieran's had a few hiccups, which aren't uncommon on the back of a really long Achilles rehab that he brought with him from Cass last year, which he was well down the path of being back from that by the time he joined us. He's had a couple of other little niggles, and Kieran's got a very different background in rugby league to what the majority of players. Last year at Cass was his first time in a full-time operation, and very early in the piece he did his Achilles, and so he missed pretty much a year of that full-time training, and he was a full-time rehabber. So he hasn't got that base under him that many of our young players have had from sort of 15 coming into our program in scholarship and working their way through. So Kieran's got plenty of work to do, but he's not too far away from a return. He's probably a month or so away, and he's eager, and he's had some good performances in reserves, and a little cameo he had at Halifax there before he got one of his bumps there. He was certainly throwing himself about, which he's a very physical player, and we welcome him getting back and building him up to get some time, in the second half of the year.
I think he's out of contract at the end of this season, isn't he? I mean, it's difficult when he's not playing. Is he someone you'd look at keeping?
No, Kieran's contracted. He'll this next year. Yes.
Has Gary given you any assurances about what the new sporting director role means for your position?
Yeah, it's a complementary role to the coaching job. So it sits between the CEO and the football operation. Oversees the football operation in which myself and Matt Cook as a general manager sort of lead the Kirkstall division. We're going to have another person there to oversee that.
Yeah, so some coaches might be wary when a role's created like this with a new man coming in with new ideas, but you don't see it as a threat to your job.
No, I welcome it, and I think it's a great appointment, a great decision by the board to seek a new appointment there. I think as an operation, it's only growing, the Leeds Rhinos, so having more intel and experience, and the club have made it very clear that they're going after someone that's very sort of experienced and prepared for such a job. It won't be a rookie, so it'll be someone that I can get support off and learn from and support them and work on the operation together.
There's obviously a lot of external pressure at the moment. Do you feel like you're fighting for your job?
I've commented about this a lot over the last few years, even before I got here. Like, I feel pressure. I understand pressure. I've only been around coaching my whole life. Like, I get it, and I don't feel any more or less than normal. I understand the magnitude of this club, what it means to people. We're all disappointed with some of the performances, or parts of the games particularly, rather than the whole game. And I feel the pain and the frustration that other people do. No one takes a loss harder than me. Sometimes I can hide it better or process it in a different way to some people. But the losses are taken extremely hard, and we're working hard to get better.
Yeah. Obviously, it's a big change within the club. Are you still confident you'll be afforded the time you need to see this project through?
Yeah, that's as far as I know. So I look forward to working with the new person, and but most importantly to tomorrow's game and getting stuck into that.
Yeah. From your conversation with Gary, is that the sense that you get that he will back you and give you that time?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You mentioned that you don't have much leeway with the forwards at the moment because of injuries, but have you been disappointed that there hasn't been enough go forward with the pack?
At times, I think most of our go forward has been limited by our lack of detail with the ball at times, and that the more you hold the ball, the more meters you get to make. So that's certainly a priority for us. A couple of players definitely can do a little better there in some regards, but in the last little while, I see the growth and the stepping forward of Mick and guys like that have really taken it upon themselves to lead that pack as best they can. So he needs some support, but we'll take care of the ball better and we'll get some more meters.